Hello and welcome to my ranking video of the Straw Hat Crew from One Piece, the anime. I want to start by saying that I will not be including Vivi as part of the Straw Hat Crew, mostly because of the fact she is, in my opinion, not really part of the crew because she doesn't travel with them. She's part of the crew in name only. Now, whether that changes because I am as far as the Wano arc, and I'm maybe halfway through that. So, I mean, it looks like we're, I'd say, 70% of the way through the entire anime. Now, I don't know how true that is, because I don't know how much more we got left as far as, anime episodes. I know there's still quite a bit in the manga, but not nearly as much. Like, Wano is getting close to the end. It may not be the end, but it's getting there. We're at least probably reaching the finale of the series, I would think. We're getting close to the end of the Grand Line. And for the most part, the crew that we have is the crew that's been there. Now, this will contain spoilers, possibly, for those who are not as far as Wano. So, if you haven't made it to Wano, you may not want to watch this video, because, like I said, there will be spoilers. So with that said, the reason why I'm doing this is because I recommended this to a friend of mine. He was looking for some content, and I told him, hey, why don't you try this kind of content? And so after you're done listening to my ranking of the Straw Hat Crew, maybe go check out his video of it. I'll put a link to it here in this video and in the description below. So with that said, let's go ahead and get rolling. Alright, coming in at number 10. Number 10 is got to go to Jinbei. Okay, so like I said, I'm in Wano, and Jinbei has just become an official part of the Straw Hat Crew. So we have seen him throughout the series here and there, and he has done some stuff, but he has never been truly a full part of the crew until right now. Now, I'm sure he's going to do a lot more, but I'm wondering what's going to happen after Wano, if he's going to stick with the crew, or if something tragic is going to happen that's going to remove him from the crew. I really hope that's not the case, but yeah, I mean, he's been a pirate for a really long time, and it just seems a little odd that such an experienced pirate is joining up with a crew like Luffy's, who's relatively, in the world of One Piece, still one of the newer crews out there. I mean, they've been at it for a while. We're not given an exact time frame, except for 2 years. But during that 2 years, they were sort of disbanded until they reformed. But yeah, Jinbei he's definitely number 10 for me because of the fact he hasn't really been around as much. We haven't really had a lot of time to grow and get to know him. Now moving on to number 9. And at number 9, despite how cute people might think he is Tony Chopper. I get it, he's the ship's doctor, and he has done some things here and there, but he doesn't do quite enough. And he hasn't really had very many storylines that really revolve around him or that really require him. He has learned quite a bit, but the character hasn't really changed much since we first met him. And I feel like that's the big drawback. Maybe if they had like aged him up during the 2-year time and made him more like a person, like a teenager or something. But he sort of feels like Grogu or Baby Groot. Like he's just there on the crew to really just look cute most of the time. And he does have a monster form, a beast form. But he doesn't use it all that much. And like I said, you know, he just doesn't really do a whole lot except freak out half the time. When you would think by now he would be just as invested in the fights as most of the other characters. So that's why Tony Chopper is at number 9. I still, before I go on, I want to just make one thing clear. I do enjoy every one of these characters. I like the growth with all the characters, but you know, in order to do a proper ranking, some are going to have to be lower than others, and some are just more of my favorites than others. So don't take that these characters being at the bottom of the list means I don't like them. I still enjoy all of them. Just ranking them, this is where they gotta go, in my opinion. Coming in at number 8. Number 8 would have to go to Usopp. Now, Usopp has been a character basically since the East Blue, and while I did enjoy him quite a bit at first, being that he was voiced by the actor who plays Krillin from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, he hasn't really changed a whole lot. And that 2-year time gap, and I know I keep bringing this up, but he learned a lot in that 2-year time gap, and yet he's still freaking out and acting very cowardly like he does since the beginning. And I feel like by this point, Usopp should have grown more and should have more of a backbone. Also, and this is going to be a repeating trend, so get ready for this, I didn't like the arc that they put him through exactly when he left the crew and then returned. I feel like this is something that Oda has used many times, where he's had characters on the Straw Hat crew leave and then come back. Now, whether they leave by choice or not, you know, they'll act like, you know, I'm done, I'm gone. And Usopp was one of those characters. And mostly, the only thing I really don't like, the only thing that drags him down as a character is, as I said, the fact that he is so cowardly all the time. Even now, like, he's still acting that cowardly. And yes, he has evolved his weapons a little bit, but I feel like he should have learned more in that 2-year time. Like, I want to see them all learn to use hockey in some form or fashion. So I feel like observer hockey would be perfect for Usopp, and that's what he really needs to learn, as well as maybe armament hockey. So moving on to number 7. And at number 7, I'm going to have to put Frankie. Frankie's enjoyable enough, but I feel like, sometimes he's just a little too silly. Sometimes he's just a little too funny and doesn't take it quite seriously. And I do enjoy seeing the gadgets and stuff he comes up with. But there's some times where I'll be watching it, especially like in Wano. I was like, okay, maybe Frankie did this. And nope, he didn't. And it's like, well, why didn't he do that? He has the capability to do that. And I do like that he started off sort of as an enemy of Luffy's and then became a friend and ally. And there's a lot of times, me and my buddy, we talk about One Piece and we talk about jokes in One Piece where I keep saying that he might have a shot with Robin. But I'm going to keep this clean for this video and move on. I believe we're at number 6 now. And coming in at number 6 is Brooke. I do enjoy Brooke's character quite a bit. I enjoy the constant puns and jokes he comes up with for being a skeleton. Although there has been a few times where I told my friend that I came up with a pun, and I'm surprised Oda or Brooke didn't use the pun, here and there. Also, I kind of wonder, who would win in a sword fight sometimes between Brooke and Zoro. Because, yes, well, Zoro is a good swordsman that can use 3 swords. Brooke also uses a sword. And whenever he uses a sword, his sword is so fast that, you don't even see it happen until he closes his blade, and then everybody gets injured all at once. I know that's a common thing used in animes, but I mean, he is lightning fast. You didn't even see it happen, and he'll just be like, "I've already hit you," and it's like, "Oh, okay." So now we're going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we'll do our final 5 Straw Hats.
For thousands of years, the world has been protected by the Guardian of Light, or as he is more commonly known, Santa Claus. Over the centuries, factors such as fear and prejudice, greed and jealousy, misunderstandings, betrayal and war have segregated most humans from the magical world of elves, fairies, wizards, and the like. This has resulted in many misconceptions and generalizations of the true nature of Santa and his world.
This 6-book series by Sean Connaughton begins as the current of a long series of guardians is murdered by a group of monstrous enemies recently escaped from an enchanted South Pole prison. These creatures are loyal to the darkness, an evil force determined to exterminate the light in order to enslave all creatures of the world.
Shane Connor, an average young man, suddenly finds himself being trained as the new guardian. As he adapts to his new life among fantastic creatures, he goes on an adventurous quest with a legendary wizard for the ultimate weapon to use against the darkness, and faces murderous enemies like Rasputin, Morgana Le Fay, Krampus, and many more.
Along with his best friend, Joe Gomez, Shane encounters politics, history, mysterious murders, new loves, his own hidden past, and racial dynamics among the fantasy races that turn out to be all too real. Their adventures reveal the true nature of the world and challenge the current state of how all races interact.
This series expertly melds myths, legends, history, faiths, folklore, and secret societies into a fascinating, cohesive, comprehensive world of wonder and magic.
From Atlantis to Olympus, from Hades to the moon, and from broomstick races to Christmas deadlines, join the new Santa Claus on his amazing journey. But beware, will Shane's quest achieve his ultimate goal of destroying the darkness and preserving the light of the world? Or is he actually playing right into a plot by dark forces that will result in his, and our, ultimate doom?
So make your list and check it twice for the Guardian of Light book series. Download your audiobook or ebook today from Audible, Amazon, or iTunes.
Alright, and we're back. So, coming in at number 5, I would have to give the number 5 spot to Sanji. The reason why is mostly because of the betrayal at Whole Cake. I get it. He was doing it for their own good. And he couldn't exactly tell Luffy what all was going on. But that wasn't the case when he first left the crew. And like I said, they keep doing this thing. Now that I think about it, it started with Nami. They keep doing this thing where Straw Hats leave the crew, and it seems like it's going to be forever, but I just didn't really, that was the one thing I did not really like, is that after all this time, all they've been through, Sanji, at this point in the game, would do that to Luffy and the crew, when he's always come off as such a dedicated, ever since he's left Baratie, he's always been so dedicated to the crew. And it kind of makes me wonder, where this story is going to go with him after the fact. So, is he married to Pudding, or are they just, still engaged? Will they end up together? Or will he continue chasing any woman he finds? But that's just why I would put Sanji at number 5. Now moving on to number 4. And this one is really tough. But I would have to give the number 4 spot to Nami. Now, the reason why is because there was so much mystery and setup back when the show started for me, back in the East Blue. There was so much mystery and stuff that was set up with Nami. And we even had a full-blown story arc that basically revolved around Nami. But ever since then, we haven't really gotten anything else. Yeah, she's there. She's growing with the crew. She's becoming into her own. And I think she would do so much better if she learned hockey. But we've got no revelations to any of the open-ended mysteries that started with her back in the East Blue. Yeah, she came across Hachi during, I think it was Sada Obi arc, and when, they reintroduced him, she basically forgave him, because, of all of Arlong's crew, he was always nice to her. He was never like the others, but other than that little connection there, we've really gotten nothing. Why was she found in the middle of a war zone by Bellamy? Who are her real parents? Why does she have such a connection to the ocean? You know, these questions have never been explored upon. And my buddy, he says, oh, that doesn't matter. I don't care about that information. But not everybody would feel that way. And I'm one of those people. I don't feel that way. I want to know. Oda took the time to set up these questions, to set up this connection with Nami and the sea, to make a backstory where Bellamy finds her in the middle of a war zone. She's found by a Navy soldier for the world government, and she quits the world government to become a mom and raise these two orphaned girls on her own. But who were her parents? Why were they there to begin with? That's what I want to know. And I feel like maybe it's going to be a huge reveal near the end. It's going to be something big. We just got to wait and find out, I guess. So, but yeah, moving on to number 3. And at number 3 is Zoro. The reason why Zoro makes the number 3 spot is because he is constantly growing, and he's constantly trying to better himself, and he's always been a loyal member to Luffy's crew. He has never once turned his back the way Nami, Usopp, Sanji have turned against Luffy at one point or another. They have always been loyal to, or he has always been loyal to. I do like the constant running jokes of Zoro getting lost, but I think that is enough to put him at the number 3 spot. Did I say number 2? I meant number 3 all this time. Sorry, he's the number 3 spot. I am kind of hoping that, I do know a little bit, actually, that in Wano there's still more to go, and we're going to get something big with Zoro. So I am looking forward to that, even though I don't know exactly what it is yet. I feel like I am getting close to that, and I'm anxious to find out what that's going to be. So, but now moving on to the number 2. And this is a real clincher for me. It might blow some people's minds, people who know me well. But coming in at number 2 is the one, the only, the beautiful Nico Robin. I fell in love with her back when she was introduced as Miss All Sunday. And then the more time we've spent with her, I love her sense of humor. I love every outfit, basically, she ever wears. She is incredibly smart. She's very important to where this story is going, as she is one of the only few people in the entire One Piece world that has the ability to translate and read the ancient text on the poneglyphs. And for that reason, my buddy and I, we've talked about this, and he's basically said, yeah, she's kind of like, in the eyes of the world government, the most dangerous character out there, because she can read and translate the poneglyphs. And I really do enjoy the fact that she is so smart and beautiful. And she did have a kind of moment like where she sort of betrayed Luffy, and she was kidnapped during the CP9 arc, and she told them to go away, but she was saying that for their own good. And Luffy basically, told her, you're full of crap. We know that's not how you feel. tell us you want us to save you, and we'll do it. And basically she did. So she kind of did what the others did, but it wasn't her choice. Initially, she was just saying stuff to, save them. I feel like what separates her and Sanji is Sanji maybe didn't have a choice, which is why he was put higher up on the list than, like, Usopp. But he still had somewhat of a choice when, like, he could have tried to fight. He could have left a note that told them, a little bit more of what was going on. And, hey, don't save me, I'll save myself or something. So, that's my thoughts on Robin. And that's my thoughts on that whole thing with that. Is it wasn't really her fault. And she's been a really great character since. And there's a lot with her character. Like, I wish they would do more with her and Luffy, or her with anyone on the crew, combining her powers. She was one of the first characters where we saw her ability, where she combined her power with Luffy's power. Although she could have replicated Luffy's power on her own, like she does later on, but now moving on to number 1, and if you haven't figured it out, it's Monkey D. Luffy at number 1. I feel a strong connection to this character. This character, despite what some people say, I share a lot in common with. I am a constantly cheery person. I don't like to be sad. I don't like to be bored. I can eat a lot when I eat. I might only eat one meal a day, so I might sit down and, chow down on some food. But, yeah, I do like to keep going. I do like to keep having fun. Even when I'm working or doing something boring, I still like to try to have fun doing it. And I completely get this character's driven, to chase your dream. I'm living proof of someone who is trying to chase their dream. I'm a writer, I'm a father, and I'm doing this, because I'm trying to, teach my daughter the right way. And I tell my friend, hey, you want this, go for it. Try it. You don't know what you're capable of if you don't try. You don't know if you can do this if you don't try. If you're looking for love, try. And even like in my personal experience, I had a relationship that didn't work out. And I'm not giving up. Until this day, even though it seems useless at this point, I'm still gonna try. I have written a book series, and even though my books aren't flying off the shelves yet, I'm still putting out the content. I'm still trying to promote my books. Even though I'm broke and penniless, basically, and a living paycheck to paycheck, I'm still on YouTube, out in the world, doing everything I possibly can to tell people about my books, to push my books out there, because that is my dream. To become a well-known author who has plenty of fans who love reading these books and share these books with their friends and family. And so I get it. I understand Luffy's dream of wanting to be king of the pirates, I understand that goal of, even when it looks dark and like it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen if you don't try. It's not going to happen if you are too busy putting everyone else down. And that's another thing I really enjoy about Luffy, is the fact that Luffy, like me, you know, he does what he can to help everyone out along his own path. He's not stopping in his path, but he will help out. And me and my buddy, we've actually had conversations where I said, you know, he is not really a pirate. I don't know why he thinks he's a pirate. I mean, in his eyes, a pirate is someone who chases their dreams. Sorry, but you don't have to be a pirate necessarily for that. You could just chase your dreams and be a dreamer, but, you know, hey, must be a pirate. But unlike every pirate in the One Piece world, he's not going around destroying and stealing everything. He's actually stopping, he's helping, he's being a good guy, and he's doing good along the way. Another thing me and my buddy have constantly had arguments about is I feel that Luffy should have the highest bounty in all of One Piece, even higher than Gold D. Rogers' bounty, because of the fact everywhere Luffy goes, everything Luffy does, whether it's purposely or not, he causes so much destruction wherever he goes. I mean, you are lucky if your island isn't completely destroyed by the time he's done. And it's not like he's doing other stuff on purpose. He's more or less just responding to everyone else who's destroying the island around him. And he's like, you know, hey, I'm going to kick your butt. So, but no. Luffy is definitely my favorite because of the fact I share a lot in common with him. So, that's going to go ahead and wrap up this ranking. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know how you'd rank yours. And if you want to see someone else's point of view, down in the description will be my friend's ranking. His name is Anime D Senpai, and he is heavily into the manga and the anime, so he probably has a very different opinion and might have different views as to where these characters lie for him based on his preferences and the way he perceives One Piece. So, alright, that's going to go ahead and wrap this up. Coming Monday, or yes, this Monday, we have another regular review, and then it'll be Thanksgiving. We do not have a Thanksgiving episode, a normal Thanksgiving episode. I always try to cover a Thanksgiving Day movie. I don't think we're going to have that this year, but we do have a pre-Christmas episode. Actually, we got 3 pre-Christmas episodes coming out. We're going to have a special one on Thursday, then another one on Friday, and then one that following Monday, which will wrap up the pre-Christmas season. So, the pre-game, yeah, into our Christmas, into December. So, we might do a review for a Thanksgiving Day movie, depending on what my daughter wants to do, and if we're able to go see it. There's a horror Thanksgiving Day movie she's kind of been saying she wants to see, so if it's available, we'll check it out. And maybe we'll put that out on Thanksgiving. So, but we have a lot of other content. Got a lot planned, and in December we got a lot coming for you guys, so be sure to check all that out. And with that all said, I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye.